Up next, new details on today's deadly plane crash in the Everglades.
We have live team coverage for you from the crash site to the airport.
We'll also have the latest on family of the victims who are now trying to cope.
Plus a record-setting night over at JRS. All next.
The American Impressions Collection from Ethan Allen. Just because you don't have a lot of money to throw around doesn't mean you have to live with disposable furniture. Right now, there's a sale going on at your local Ethan Allen.
Only the 12-hour antihistamine in Tavist-D is clinically proven to deliver both cold and allergy relief. Proven safe over 15 years. And just as important as clinical proof, there's living proof. Tavist-D, the only one with proven cold and allergy relief.
Think about this. A hair color that's a cream. A nurturing cream rich in moisture. Excellence doesn't drip, it even protects, and it really covers gray. Does your hair color do all that?
Excellence Cream by L'Oreal.
Think about it.
When I sing from my soul, it reflects my inner pride and confidence. Part of that confidence is knowing that when I open my mouth, my teeth are incredibly clean. That's why I switched from ordinary toothpaste to Tartar Control Crest. My dentist says it has special tartar blockers. They're drawn to where tartar is forming, where you can see it and where you can't. So I'm confident my teeth are clean. And when I'm confident, it makes a difference inside and out.
People are talking about Mad About You as Paul and Jamie face their biggest crisis.
What's going to happen now? What happens now?
I don't know.
And here's what America's saying.
I seen him argue, but he's never like that. They're like your best friends. You don't want to see them break up.
I really hope they patch it up.
Yeah, I mean, they're such a great couple. Have they seen a counselor?
Jamie and Paul, right here in my heart.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see what happens.
Don't miss the season finale of Mad About You, 1 week from Sunday. Your local news is next.
I'm Jerry Healthman. Up next at 11, up-to-the-minute information on one of the worst plane crashes in South Florida history. Live team coverage of the crash of Flight 592. Up next on NBC6.
What if you could eat your favorite foods with few calories and no fat? Monday at 11, it's a controversial new fat substitute that's making these foods fat-free. But is it safe? A Fat-Free Monday special report, Fake Fat. Monday at 11 on Channel 6 News, where the news comes first.
It's time for the Florida Lotto game for May 11th, 1996. Supervised by Lottery Security and certified by Lovelace Roby and Company, Moore Stevens International. This week's Florida Lotto grand prize worth an estimated $7 million. Grace Ladd mixes balls 1 through 49. Now here are this week's Florida Lotto numbers. The first number is 11. The second number is 31. The third number is 26. The fourth number is 25. The fifth number is 32. And the last number is 3. So tonight's number is 11, 31, 26, 25, 32, and 3. Don't miss the next Florida Lottery's Flamingo Fortune TV game show right here on this station. You could win hundreds of thousands of dollars. Good night, and good luck, Florida.
You're watching WTVJ NBC6, where the news comes first. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
The ground at that angle, and then Earth and Everglades went up into the air about 100 feet.
A jet carrying 109 passengers plummets to the ground, and this is all that's left.
Distraught family members and friends rush to the airport only to learn there are no survivors.
Tonight, search teams comb the murky waters, picking up the bits and pieces from the crash of ValueJet Flight 592.
Good evening to you. I'm Willard Shepard.
And I'm Jerry Healthman. The search for bodies ended just minutes ago, but the search for answers continues tonight. ValueJet Flight 592 crashed in the Everglades about 15 miles from Miami International Airport. All 109 people on board are presumed dead. The DC-9 was bound for Atlanta when the pilot reported smoke in the cockpit. Then after turning around to return to MIA, it crashed. We have a team of news crews covering this story tonight. We begin with NBC6 reporter Ari Adzer at the command center in West Dade.
Jerry, at the command center here tonight, the presumption is, as you said, that all 109 people on board that flight died in that crash. No survivors have been found. No body parts have even been found as of yet. In fact, just a few moments ago, Metro Dade officials told us they've called off the search for the night, saying alligators, snakes, and darkness make it too dangerous to continue. As the sun went down over the Everglades, hopes that someone may have survived the crash went down as well.
We have not found any survivors at this time. They said we're continuing our search and rescue operations throughout the night and as long as need be till we have a definitive answer.
Rescue workers waded through the river of grass in chest-deep water. The jet crashed in an extremely inaccessible part of the Everglades.
The part where I felt most emotional was when I saw a family album floating on the water, and it was a mother with young children.
Here's the sequence of events. ValueJet Flight 592 takes off from Miami International Airport just after 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, heading to Atlanta to drop off some passengers and pick up more. Moments into the flight, 100 miles west of Miami, the pilot radios the control tower. There's smoke in the cockpit. The pilot tells the tower he's turning the jet around. Then, at 15 miles northwest of MIA, the tower loses contact with the plane. Flight 592 slams into the marshy ground 8 minutes after takeoff.
When the team from Washington does arrive, a full investigation will be started at that point by NTSB for the purpose of determining what caused this accident and what possibly could be done to prevent it from happening again.
Now tonight, Metro Dade officials tell us that they're going to pave a road near the crash site, presumably on top of a levee, to make this investigation easier to work. As it is, it will take months to get to the bottom of this to find out exactly what caused this crash. My colleague Michael Williams joins me here at the scene now. You've been in the helicopter all day in Sky 6, Michael. You were watching how difficult it was for these rescuers to get to that scene. Tell us more about that. What'd you see?
Well, just a tough day out there, a very frustrating day for people today. You know, in the coming days, the enormity of this tragedy will be written on the faces of the people who will have to confront it directly, the police, the rescue workers, or the would-be rescue workers, and the investigators. But right now, just frustration etched on those faces. Their desire to help thwarted both by the inaccessibility of the area and also the very likelihood from the start that there was nobody out there to rescue. As the sun set on the Everglades, you had to look hard from the air to spot the scene of the crash. For the moment, at least, the water and mud here have hidden most physical signs of this tragedy from view. Helicopters hovered, then landed at the crash scene. Airboats moved in, and several people could be seen slogging through the water.
We could see some of the wreckage, small parts of fuselage and other parts of wreckage, but that's pretty much all there was.
Police and other would-be rescuers waited on the canal levee a half mile or so from the crash site, which is accessible only by boat or helicopter. Workers collected small pieces of debris and searched in vain for the survivors that they agreed nothing short of a miracle would produce.
Our cruise was one of the crews in Oklahoma City. We never gave up there, and we're not going to give up here either.
Chief, what happens now that it gets dark? What do you do now?
We'll continue to look as long as we can. We're bringing lights in. Our helicopters have floodlights. We're going to continue to look until we're absolutely sure there's no surviving passengers.
Federal crash investigators will be on site by morning. They will search beneath the glades for what bigger parts of fuselage there might be, and they will comb the area for the flight data recorders, crucial to unraveling the mystery of this crash. To other workers will be left the task of claiming the victims of Flight 592. Tomorrow morning at dawn, that search will continue. Again, for the night, it has, for all practical purposes, been called off, though there are still police and other people around the crash site area, some 10 to 15 miles due north of me, making sure that the scene is secured. We, of course, will have continuing coverage. For now, reporting live from the command post in far West Dade, Michael Williams, NBC6.
Okay, Michael and Ari, thank you very much.
Now, Jerry, Daniel Muehlharp was flying a private plane over the Everglades today when he saw that the DC-9 jet was in trouble. At first, he thought it was a small plane doing aerobatic maneuvers.
By the time he realized what was happening, it was too late to even sound a warning.
It was at a 75-degree bank down angle. almost like it looked like it was recovering from a lazy 8 maneuver, and it never pulled up. When it hit the ground at that angle, and then Earth and Everglades went up into the air about 100 feet. Then I knew that it looked like a bomb blowing up or something, and then I knew that there was something wrong here. We turned to the south, called up Miami Approach, told them what happened, and they asked, for the exact location. We gave it to them, waited for Metro to get out there. Then Coast Guard came out, and then we went back home.
An unbelievable eyewitness account. Willard, you're an Air Force pilot. Anything that you've seen from these pictures tonight that give you any clue as to what might have happened?
Well, obviously, they had a big problem out there today in terms of the smoke in the cockpit early. That gave them an indication that they were having trouble. As they turned around to try to come back in, it seems like it was some type of structural failure or problem that caused the aircraft to simply break apart and come down. As we saw the eyewitness there talking about the airplane coming down at a very, very steep angle, and that indicates some type of structural failure.
You normally don't see a plane turning up in such debris like that without any large pieces.
Well, the force of the impact clearly caused that, and that's why we see the breakup there this evening. The rescuers are going to have a very, very difficult time. Obviously, they don't think anyone survived this, but even putting the parts of the airplane back together so they can figure out exactly what happened.
Well, needless to say, emotions are pouring in tonight from the relatives and friends of the victims.
That's right. Airline officials and counselors are dealing with questions that just don't have any answers right now. NBC6 reporter Nick Bogert is live over at Miami International Airport with more for us tonight. Nick?
Willard, obviously a grim night, a heart-wrenching night here at MIA. Perhaps 2 to 3 dozen loved ones of people aboard the flight came here, but the only words that can be said to them neither explain what happened in this crash nor can relieve their grief. Here in Miami and in Atlanta, relatives and friends of those aboard Flight 592 have been coming in small groups throughout the afternoon and evening. In Miami, they came first to ValueJet's ticket counter, then were taken to an airport auditorium set aside as a grief room.
Feeding them and giving them phone lines, and anything at all that they wanted, and they brought in crisis counselors.
The main thing is you need to listen to them. You need to hear their story and let them share it. It's very important that they share at this time.
A little after 8, passengers from Atlanta pull into Miami on another ValueJet flight. They had traveled with news of the crash fresh on their minds.
As we were coming over to Everglades, there was a little turbulence, a little bumping and everything, and you could just see the water down below, and it was pretty frightening.
They were very good. The crew were reassuring, so it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad.
Glad to be here, though.
We all cheered when the plane landed.
Also at Miami's airport earlier, Terry Huckabee, an Atlanta businessman who felt lucky he'd worked late and missed 592.
I'm going back to the apartment. How did you? You're not going to fly today? Not today. Not today. No more flying today.
Now, as far as we know, none of the loved ones who came here to Miami's airport needed any major medical attention, though we understand one pregnant woman felt some signs of false labor. We believe she was okay, though. The grief room has now cleared out, loved ones going home to what will undoubtedly be a sleepless night. We're live at MIA. Nick Bogert, NBC6.
Nick, thank you very much. Well, tonight this tragedy is touching people all over the country.
That's right, including President Bill Clinton. Today, he issued a statement about the crash. He said, quote, "All Americans join Hillary and me in offering our hopes and prayers to the family and friends of those aboard the ValueJet flight that has so tragically crashed near Miami's airport." He says, although we fear the worst, we are hoping and praying for their safety.
A National Transportation Safety Board team arrived in Miami tonight to begin the search for the cause of the crash. NBC6 reporter Steve Daniels live in West Dade with details. Steve.
Jury, the NTSB GO team, as it's called, just arrived from Washington a short time ago. They are setting up their headquarters here at the Radisson Mart Hotel. This is exactly where they held a news conference about a half an hour ago, just wrapped up. They were trying to give us some indication of exactly how they're going to go about this. They said their primary focus and their thoughts tonight are with the families of the victims, and it is for those people they will go to work tomorrow morning. They will be heading out to the crash site in the Everglades tomorrow morning. They say it's going to be a very difficult job piecing this all together. They will have 10 different teams looking at the plane's engines, the plane's structure, air traffic control communications. Their first focus will be looking for the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. NTSB officials are prepared for the difficult task of trying to piece together today's crash.
Well, I think it's fair to say that this is not going to be the friendliest environment to do an accident investigation in that one could have. So we'll have to deal with that. It's going to be difficult, but the technologies that are available and the specialists that we have available are capable of dealing with it, I think.
Now, ValueJet has been the subject of intense FAA scrutiny this year. It's undergone an intense investigation by the FAA, but in Atlanta at ValueJet's headquarters today, the company president, Louis Jordan, says his airline is as safe as any in the sky.
The FAA has reported that they found nothing of consequence in those inspections. They were continuing their evaluation, and they would continue with the in-depth inspection. But they have reported publicly their appreciation for ValueJet's cooperation during that inspection, and that they found nothing that they wouldn't expect to find at other fine operating airlines.
And we at NBC6 have been in touch with our sources to try to confirm some of that. We have found from the FAA that there are no service difficulty reports with this specific aircraft. We do know that it was a DC-9 built in 1969, used to fly for Delta Airlines. It was flying for about 27 years. And we do know that it went through its last maintenance check just 4 days ago on May 7th. At this point, the reason behind the crash is an absolute mystery, but the investigators from the NTSB will go hard at work tomorrow morning to try to find a cause. Reporting live at the Radisson Mart Hotel, Steve Daniels, NBC6.
Steve, thank you. And our coverage of the crash of Flight 592 is just getting started.
That's right. Right now, we are digging into the background of ValueJet and checking on the company's records. You may be surprised with what we find. Details are straight ahead, so stay with us.
Could flying be linked to reproductive problems?
People have trouble getting pregnant. They have difficulty carrying the baby to term.
In an NBC6 exclusive, Ileana Bravo uncovers a government investigation. Infertility, miscarriages, birth defects in flight attendants. Is flying causing their pregnancy problems? And are frequent flyers at risk?
Sure. You're getting exposed to as much radiation as I am.
Reproductive Risk, Tuesday at 11 on Channel 6 News, where the news comes first.
There's a chain of sights and neon lights that ties us together. So pack your binoculars. The Toyota Summer Drive is on. Run into your dealer before the crowds start to swell and see the hallmarks of this land in a Camry, which you can lease for a low $199 a month. Camry also comes with savings up to $1,200 when you buy or lease. But hurry, because there's great values on Camrys and a 1,000,000-mile post to go. So see your Toyota dealer and drive.
You love it, I love it, I got it at Ross. Do you love it, I love it, I got it at Ross.
It's summer at Ross. Save up to 60% on a huge selection of the latest fashions for men and women.
You guys, we're out of clothes. Time to go home. No, time to go to Ross.
Get ready for summer at Ross. Don't you just love it?
Now you don't have to wait to save on international calls. With MCI World Savings, you're guaranteed one low rate, 24 hours a day to each country when you call any number you've selected. Places like Australia, Germany, Italy, and the Philippines. That's MCI's lowest rate day or night. So no matter where you call, you always save over AT&T. Call 1-800-999-4400 to join. MCI World, for citizens of the world.
Dr. Catherine Homrick cares for some very demanding patients in upstate New York.
I drive a lot. Some days I'll drive up to 300 miles a day to see my clients.
Fortunately, this veterinarian drives the reliable Mitsubishi Galant.
My Galant makes my life a lot easier. With the weather being unpredictable, it's real important that I have a dependable vehicle.
The Mitsubishi Galant, a car you can depend on, even when it's raining cats and dogs. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Real-time closed captioning on 6 News is brought to you by aluminum roll-up shades and shutters.
This is Channel 6 News continuing coverage. The crash of Flight 592.
And welcome back tonight to a special edition of the NBC6 News at 11 o'clock, the tragic crash of Flight 592. Now, ironically, the FAA had launched a very detailed inspection of ValueJet just 3 months ago after 4 different problems on the ground.
For more on the company's history, we go live to the newsroom and reporter Ed O'Dell.
Jerry Willard, the most spectacular accidents ValueJet ever had, actually occurred 2.5 years ago, but as we searched, we found that they had that one major accident and 2 minor incidents. The most spectacular accident in ValueJet's 2.5-year history occurred just before a packed ValueJet DC-9 took off on a flight from Atlanta to Miami last June. It burst into flames on the runway. A flight attendant burned and 62 passengers injured during the evacuation. The FAA ordered a special inspection of the engines ValueJet purchased from a Turkish airline after the pilot reported hearing a loud pop before the fire.
Was the kind of engine failure where a disc separates, and it's the kind of thing that has happened at virtually every airline.
There were also 2 accidents this past January. A ValueJet DC-9 slid into mud in Atlanta, another into a snowbank in Washington, D.C. A third DC-9 skidded off an icy runway again at Dulles International. Jordan Green, an airline analyst, just published an article concerning an FAA red flag and inspection ordered after ValueJet announced rapid expansion plans.
That they've reduced their growth plans because the FAA put pressure on them, concerned about the rate of growth and the ability to control maintenance and the maintenance. They just went through a FAA inspection for 3 months, which they had a SWAT team with some 18, 20 people at the beginning, and brought them back again. And basically, they passed the inspection. They didn't have any major problems.
Now, I asked Jordan Green if he would fly ValueJet. He said that he would tomorrow. Now, we have documents pulled off the computer that show that the plane that went into the ground today had no major maintenance problems that we could find. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Ed Odell, NBC6.
Okay, thank you, Ed. And also, we want to tell everyone tonight that even though this is a smaller discount airline, they do have to follow the same procedures as the larger carriers.
Exactly. Now, ValueJet has put out these hotline phone numbers for people who may have had relatives on board that plane. The hotlines are 1-800-486-4346 or 770-994-8258. We have much more coming up. Please stay with us.
Just what you need from the coupe that takes your breath away. More oxygen. Introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. It has quite an effect on drivers, too. The new Eclipse convertible from Mitsubishi.
Evian, every day is a chance to feel healthy.
There was a time when we didn't have a worry in the world. Today, well, we seem to be making up for it. That's why you need Chevy Lumina, a car so well engineered and affordable, you could have it paid off long before it needs its first tune-up. Chevy Lumina, because nobody's got enough money, and everybody's got enough worries. The cars more Americans trust.
Genuine Chevrolet.
6 Neighborhood Network, brought to you by Bell South, only on NBC6.
Welcome back tonight. Maria Gennaro joining us now. First of all, it doesn't look like weather had anything to do with this accident.
Absolutely.
It was a clear day. Yeah, that's what we had said earlier. It was a clear day, plus the report, of course, that there was smoke in the cockpit. So weather had absolutely nothing to do with the horrible, horrible day that Miami suffered today. Very bad. Anyhow, let's get outside right now and take a look and see what we have. 76 degrees currently in Miami, 71% humidity, and we did pick up a little rain. There are a few scattered showers around, but as we said, no strong thunderstorms, nothing that absolutely had anything to do with that crash today. Let's take a look at what we have right now. This is how we looked earlier. Some pretty heavy showers, though, just north of Key West, and you can see they just kind of faded out. Also more rain throughout the central portion of Florida. We are basically under clear skies tonight. A couple of showers developing off in the Atlantic. They're moving towards the west, so we could run into a few sprinkles right along the west coast, and that should be about it. So here's our forecast for tonight. We're calling for basically clear skies, a couple of light sprinkles possible, low temperature 74, and then for tomorrow, partly sunny, chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, high temperature heading up to 86. Boaters tomorrow will find winds out of the southeast at about 10 knots and just a light chop on the bay. Time now for Craig Minervini with sports. Craig.
Well, thank you, Maria. And amidst the tragic news of the day, an amazing sports story tonight. Marlins pitcher Al Leiter tossing a no-hitter at Joe Robbie Stadium. The Marlin hitters look like a tough act to upstage. They scored 8 runs the first 2 innings, 3 off the bat of Charles Johnson, CJ, with a 3-run homer. But the story indeed, Leiter, the 30-year-old lefty mixing his pitches. He fielded his position well, gets the 1-6-3 double play here. Leiter had the fastball up to the mid-90s. He struck out 6 Rockies. Here's Colorado's best chance in the 5th. Ellis Burks a broken bat single. That's how it went. Arias, though, gets him by a step, and that was that. Leiter finishing the no-no in style.
CJ and I were just right on all night long, and to get the defensive plays there, all the guys, I mean, just totally. And then the respect of the lineup. I mean, the Colorado Rockies, an outstanding lineup that they have, and it's just, it's incredible. I'm really happy.
All right, the Marlins won the game 11-0. Their 6th straight win, a night the lefty will never forget. He's won 6 as well. That's it in sports. Jerry Willard?
Okay, Craig, thank you. We continue to follow tonight's top story, the crash of Flight 592.
Tomorrow morning, rescuers will continue their search through the swamp. We'll have the very latest details coming up from the command center straight ahead, so stay with us.
Growing up, you always wanted to be that lone, rugged hero who rode across the desert to get the bad guy. Then you realized, man, it's hot out there. Presenting the Chevy S-Series Southern States package, aluminum wheels, stereo cassette, and most importantly, air conditioning. Happy trails. Chevy S-Series, like a rock.
I am surrounded by beautiful things. I am surrounded by beautiful things.
Marshall's has more of the brands Mom loves for less.
My husband will do the dishes.
Marshall's, brand names for less every day.
The future is coming. Coming after you. And only one thing can save you.
I said I'd be back.
Get down! Now, join Arnold Schwarzenegger in the world's only 3D virtual adventure. Terminator 2, 3D Battle Across Time. An incredible new way to ride the movies. Now, at Universal Studios, Florida.
Hasta la vista, baby.
It's time to see how north, south, east, and west were one. So giddy up, buckaroos. The Toyota Summer Drive is on. You can lease the big T100 for a summer low of $219 a month. Or for a special lease rate of just $149 a month, you can get your wheels dirty in a tough Tacoma. And enjoy features like air, power steering, stereo, and more. There's great values on Toyota trucks. So see your Toyota dealer and drive.
This is Channel 6 News continuing coverage. The crash of Flight 592.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the crash of Flight 592. Once again, crews are planning to search the scene for bodies starting again tomorrow morning.
That's right, and let's check in again with NBC6 reporter Ari Ratzer. He's been over at the command center all day. Ari, what's the latest?
Willard, about an hour ago, Metro officials announced that they had called the search off for the night, saying darkness, alligators, snakes all made it too dangerous to continue. They have found no survivors, no signs of survivors, nor have they found any signs of bodies at this point. They have, however, found some personal effects, including a photo album and, we're told, some children's clothing. Now, tomorrow morning, Metro officials will begin the process of paving a road on a levee that leads out near the site. That, they say, will make it easier to work this investigation, which will last over many months. For now, reporting live at the command post, Ari Ratzer, NBC6.
Okay, thank you, Ari. Well, this is, of course, a story we will be following throughout the night. If any major developments occur, we'll bring them to you immediately. Now, in addition to team coverage here in Miami, NBC6 reporter Carlos Harrison is already heading to Atlanta. He will be reporting from Atlanta tomorrow.
Our complete coverage of the crash of Flight 592 resumes at 7 tomorrow morning with live team coverage on Today in South Florida, with another full hour of coverage from 9 till 10. Then at 11 tomorrow morning, we'll have a special program, the crash of Flight 592.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Thanks for being with us.
NBC's Saturday Night Live is next. Enjoy the evening.
Channel 6 News at 11 is brought to you in part by your South Florida Ford dealers.
Why is this red Honda Civic so blue? Because new car buyers are giving the Civic a cold shoulder and buying the '96 Ford Escort, America's best-selling small car 14 years in a row. Buy a new Escort now with all these features and get 1.9% financing or $1,000 cash back. Just think, $1,000 cash back or 1.9% financing for 2 years. No wonder this Honda Civic is green with envy. See the all-new Ford Escort at your South Florida Ford dealer today.
Doctors aren't all created from the same mold. They're as unique as the people they protect. Yet, as different as they are, they all have one thing in common. They want you to get better. Neighborhood health. It's time to get better.
What does an hour cost? At Value, you can rent a car by the hour for just 99 cents. Value Rent a Car. It's time well spent. What does an hour cost?
No, Mrs. Zaritsky, you can't claim an out-of-body experience as a business trip.
At Value, you can rent a car by the hour for just 99 cents. Value Rent a Car. It's time well spent.
Boston Market introduces the king of clubs, the Boston Carver Club Sandwich. We start with hot hand-carved rotisserie turkey breast and cheddar cheese. Then we pile on juicy hearth honey ham and Swiss cheese, and add on creamy club sauce with real bacon as the crowning touch. Now get a Carver Club combo. A Carver Club, one of our delicious sides, and a regular drink, just $4.50. Only at Boston Market. Carving out a better sandwich.
In searching for a luxury performance sedan, Michael Young tested the Oldsmobile LSS against 3 of the fastest Japan has to offer: the Infiniti J30, Lexus ES300, and teppanyaki chef Yasu Norimoto. And while his 240 horsepower LSS was no match for Yasu's speed, not only did Mr. Young fare much better against the imports, he had them for lunch. Will the LSS pass your test?
The following is a special report from NBC.
Good evening. I'm Sean Brokaw reporting from Washington.